Yes, I can see better now than when I was 20 years old. Let me explain. It's true that many people start having different kinds of problems with their eyes as they get older. However, I have to admit that this is not my experience, and I want to tell you why. If you are new here, welcome. It's really nice to meet you. And if you've been subscribed for some time, welcome back. I'm so glad that you keep tuning in. Now, while there are lots of changes that happen to our bodies as we age, I honestly believe that our mindset and the choices we make have a major impact on those changes. Some of them are good changes, some of them aren't necessarily bad. We just need to learn how to deal with them. And that's what I try to help you do right here on this channel. Okay, so let's talk about your eyes. Have you ever had someone say to you, "Don't sit too close to the TV or you'll damage your eyes"? Or maybe you heard that as a child and you're still repeating it to yourself as an adult. Well, first off, no, sitting close to the TV won't damage your eyes. In fact, most children enjoy watching cartoons on YouTube and other streaming services from up close because they sit very close to the screen. It's just part of being a kid. But then when they grow up, all of a sudden that same person starts telling them that they shouldn't do that anymore. What gives? The truth is that children's eyes are naturally sharper than ours, and they have something called accommodation, which is the ability to quickly change the shape of the lens in the eye to focus on nearby objects like a smartphone or a TV screen. As we get older, that ability decreases, but it doesn't disappear entirely. Most adults still retain enough accommodation to read comfortably without glasses or reading material, even if they're sitting close to the screen. However, some adults complain that their eyesight is getting worse, and they might be right. For example, I wasn't able to read the street signs when I drove past them, so I had to pull over and put my glasses on to be able to read them. But for the most part, my near vision isn't any worse than when I was 20. In fact, I would argue that it's actually better, and I know that might sound crazy, especially considering that I have presbyopia. Presbyopia is the condition where your eyes lose their ability to focus on nearby objects as you get older. That condition can't be corrected with glasses or contact lenses, but it usually starts to appear around the age of 40, and by the time you turn 60, the condition will have worsened significantly. Well, yes, I have presbyopia, but it hasn't stopped me from seeing clearly at close range. Instead, I find myself reaching for my reading glasses less and less these days. My near vision is quite sharp, and that's not just my opinion. When I do the eye test in the clinic, I can see the letters on the eye chart much more clearly than younger doctors. Why is that? Well, I'm not sure exactly. Maybe it's because I've spent thousands of hours looking through a microscope and focusing on tiny details that I'm able to see very small print very clearly. But the point is that my near vision isn't getting worse. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I remember back when I was 20 years old and I went to college, I struggled to find my glasses when I woke up in the morning. They were always under the bed somewhere, and I never knew where they were. I would end up leaving them on the bedside table until I went to bed again. And then the next morning I would repeat the whole process all over again. It got so bad that I ended up breaking my glasses several times because I accidentally sat on them, or something else heavy landed on them. I felt like my vision was so poor at 20 that I couldn't function well without my glasses. The only way I could manage was to use a spare pair of glasses, even though they weren't prescribed for me, and they caused my eyes to feel uncomfortable after wearing them for long periods of time. What's the solution? Well, back then I didn't have the option of laser eye surgery. And besides, I'm not sure that it was a viable option where I lived back then anyway. What I did have was the option to wear contact lenses, but I didn't want to because I wasn't going to spend money on them just to have a spare pair of glasses lying around. Little did I know that I would soon be able to buy contact lenses without having to spend a fortune on them. But I digress. So what changed between the age of 20 and 60 that allowed me to see better now than I did back then? Well, firstly, I made a conscious effort to improve my eyesight. When I was 20, I thought that I was doing everything I could to take care of my eyes, but in reality, I was making some big mistakes. I shared the top 3 mistakes that I made in this video, so please watch that one next to learn what they were, and avoid making the same mistakes yourself. Secondly, as you get older, your eye muscles become weaker. That's just a fact of life. Just like the rest of your body, you don't have as much muscle mass as you used to, But instead of letting that affect your vision negatively, I found ways to strengthen my eye muscles. And that brings me to my third point, which is that I've tried pretty much every eye exercise that's out there. You might think that I'm nuts, but I'm serious. I've done it all. Eye yoga, eye qigong, Bates method, you name it. And I've learned that the best way to improve your eyesight is to combine all of them into one routine that you do daily. Now, I've released a free video on this topic, but it's not the kind of video that you're used to watching. That's why I haven't promoted it yet. I've kept it under wraps, so to speak. But since you've stuck around until the end of this video, I think you deserve to know about it. I'll put the link down below, and I hope that you like it. And finally, I've invested in technology that allows me to see things more clearly. For example, I have a phone with a giant screen, and I keep it within arm's reach at all times so that I can see what's on it easily. I also have special glasses that I wear when I do my eye exams, and they help me to see inside the patient's eyes better. They're called magnification spectacles, and they come in different strengths depending on what you need them for. As I get older, I intend to invest in more technology that will help me to live more comfortably, and I recommend that you do the same. In conclusion, I have to admit that I feel better now than when I was 20. Back then I struggled with my eyesight, and I didn't know how to improve it. But now that I'm 60, I've learned how to take care of my eyes, and I'm reaping the benefits of that knowledge. My eyesight is sharper now than it was back then, and I know that I'm doing everything I can to prevent it from getting worse. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and that it gave you some insight into how to take care of your eyes as you age. Please leave a comment down below to share your thoughts and experiences with vision changes as you get older. Did you notice any improvements or challenges? I'd love to hear about them. Also, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Until next time, take care of yourself because you're worth it.